welcome back to my naughty little channel. I hope you are all enjoying this summer. I hope that you are taking trips. I hope that you are somewhere shaking that thing on a yacht. I hope that you are getting whatever your dream summer is. I hope that you are having it. I wanted to chime into the Sydney Sweeney situation just because I haven't really talked about that. I don't think like in its own separate video, but I kind of have given my opinion a little bit on it. Me personally, I don't know. I don't have any issue with Sydney Sweeney. I don't have an issue with the American Eagle ad. I don't have an issue with the Dr. Squatch soap. I don't have an issue with any of that. And I just kind of want to talk about like why I don't have an issue with that. So my thing is that I am a big believer in women, like especially beautiful women. We just get so sexualized without our permission that me personally, if a woman chooses to sexualize herself, if she chooses to profit off of that, I don't have an issue with that. Because at the end of the day, from what I know, her body is natural and everything. And like, I don't believe that people have the same amount of smoke for the tons of men who likely would have sexualized her and given her unwanted or uncomfortable information, attention long before she was even thinking about it. I think that for a lot of women, I feel like, especially being an exotical, I feel like people will say that Black women get sexualized young, and I definitely think that that is very true. But I think that for exoticals, it can be really bad because I feel like I feel like because of our ambiguity, some people are fetishizing us. Some people are, just very curious about us. People of every different group can look at us and see some of their features. So, like, sometimes I'll watch content from the Quoves studio, and they were talking about how classic beauty was more so unambiguous beauty versus modern beauty. The new standard is becoming unambiguous. Oh no, not unambiguous, ambiguous beauty, where multiple people can look at you and see themselves in your features. So if you're an exotic on this channel, you may have had people who are Filipino who are looking at you and they're like, are you one of us? You may have had, people who are Hispanic look at you and say, are you one of us? People who are white will look at you and say, are you one of us? People of every group, can be looking at you. People can't necessarily place you. That's why even when it comes to like skin tone, some people will refer to you as like being a safe brown because of the fact that, more people are like from different groups that are monoracial are more likely to look at you and feel as though you could relate to them, like you could be one of them. And I feel like when it comes to like maturing as a young exotical girl, the way that some men fetishize and crash out over us in adulthood, I feel like during that, like looking back as somebody who's like been out of my teenage years for quite some time now, it is kind of like weird that I'll look back and I'll be like, wow, like I was like a child. And people, I feel like sometimes women who are monoracial, they can look at you as if you are like trying to sexualize yourself when you're not. Some people, they just feel like your eye shape is sexy. They just feel like your hair texture is sexy. For some of us, it could have been your natural hair color. They just thought was sexy. Like, I don't know, like just your feature. They just thought you were sexy back before you even wanted to be sexy, even thought about sex appeal or anything. A lot of people, for young exotical girls, feel as though they are, I don't know, like just tantalizing and magnetizing and just very intriguing and, because I've experienced myself being sexualized way younger than I would have preferred to, and just having all of this energy sent my way before I even realized anything about, smex and sexuality. There's a creator that I used to watch a lot. Let me pull her up. So her name is Cassandra's Temple. She's an exotical. I don't believe she like identifies with the community or anything like that, but she is, she looks like some sort of exotical, and she used to make content talking about how she felt as though she was a sacred prostitute archetype, which just talking about her, just her journey with her body. And she's put out some takes that I just really agreed with. Like when she talked about, if you ever look out, she has these videos where she talks a lot about sexuality, and when she was a child, realizing that she, before she even realized it, could pull this attention from people, and realize that, people actually really are reacting to me, or they're looking at me in a certain type of way. And you can be a child and there can be grown men who will look at you. You're not doing anything. You don't even necessarily know about the birds and the bees yet, depending on how you grew up. And you could be there just wearing the regular, most plainest thing, and it could be your facial features, it could be your skin tone, it could be your hair texture, it could be your body shape that you're not trying to do anything with. And you're drawing this attention without trying to, without attempting to, without even welcoming it or encouraging it. And it's to the point where, some women, they get older and they even neglect their self-care. They allow themselves to gain a lot of weight just because they've been so overwhelmed by the sheer amount of male attention that they have, kind of drawn without attempting to. Because there's one thing to be trying to be sexy, to be trying to have sex appeal, and to be able to be successful at that, at cultivating your seduction and everything. And then there's another thing to like not even be aware of how babies are born, not even being aware of what mommy or daddy are in the room doing, and you're having grown men lick their lips looking at you, and just little things. It's even to the point where I'll see parents who feel some type of way about the length of shorts for little girls or the bathing suits that they sell for little girls, feeling like, oh my God, it's not enough coverage. Oh my God, there are creeps out there and all these things. It's a child, but there's some grown man who's like, but those thighs though, but that midriff. And I just feel like because I've experienced so much of that myself, I feel like if there is a woman who is deciding, to me, I see that that can be empowering to her. I feel like sometimes as women, we have to kind of realize that empowerment is not necessarily a one size fits all. And, while I don't necessarily self-identify with the term feminist just because of my own personal preference, I personally don't. I have friends who are feminists and identify with that, and I could even still share the beliefs of them. But I feel like something that I'm a big believer in is like, if that is empowering to that woman, she should be allowed to do that. Some women, they are empowered by modesty. Some women are empowered by nudity. Some women are empowered by having the freedom to choose what they want to do on each day, and I'm a big believer in, I feel as though women deserve to have their own journey. I don't necessarily believe that, there's a hierarchy where, modesty is like the tip top peak of womanhood and maturity and self-actualization, and you're gonna grow out of it, you'll grow up. I don't necessarily believe that's the case. I feel like she's a young, beautiful woman. Sydney Sweeney has likely been dealing with so much unwanted attention probably since she was a very young age. So if she decides, I want to make a little coin off of being sexualized, where it's going to happen regardless. You know, she could wear a turtleneck and she's still going to be sexualized. She could wear no makeup. You know, she could, I just feel like people have way too much smoke for the woman who decides, well, you know, there's the one side of being beautiful where maybe I have been touched without my consent. Maybe I have been groped. Maybe I have been assaulted. Maybe I have, you know, been R-worded. Like, there's so many things that women can deal with without their consent. And the fact that there's like never enough smoke for the men who are doing these things to the women. I feel like if a woman wanted to then say, well, you know what, it's going to happen to me anyways, I'd rather make some money off of it, I don't have an issue with that. So that's kind of like my take on like the Dr. Squatch thing. I feel as though, like, personally, I feel like every man who's going to make you uncomfortable or give you some sort of unwanted or creepy attention, you know, it would be one thing if they were just like paying you or giving you some sort of like, I don't know, compensation for how it might make you feel icky and disgusting or whatever. I mean, a lot of women know what it feels like to take a shower for a long time or even to sit in the shower and still not feel clean. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of women have dealt with certain situations. You see these different statistics about, oh, every 1 in 3 women or every 1 in 4 women. That means that, like, yeah, it's exotical creators. Yeah, it's celebrities. Yes, it's white women. Yes, it's mixed women. Yes, it's black women. Every woman you know has probably dealt with something unwanted. So me personally, I'm not going to have an issue with a woman deciding that she wants to benefit off of that, because me personally, I do believe that it can drain your energy as a woman. You know, just to have your face out there and to have men deciding to go pleasure themselves to pictures of you, to videos of you, whatever, even if it's not something that you intentionally put out to be tantalizing and arousing. You know, I feel like it does drain your energy as a woman. So I feel like if she wants to line her pockets a little bit more with the money, say, okay, well, you're already going to be taking clips and edits of me and, you know, pleasuring yourself to me without my consent, making it just feel nasty sometimes for me to be seen. I don't see any issue with her then saying like, hey, well, now you can buy, you know, this soap and you can do your nasty, disgusting stuff that I never gave you permission to do anyways. But I will at least be able to pay my bills more. You know, I don't have an issue with that. And I have seen people basically saying like, oh, is the rent that high and stuff like that. And I don't like takes like that, just personally. Like, no hate to any creator who said that, but me personally, I just feel like, who are you to decide what, you know, the cap on another woman's finances are? You know, like, I feel like, okay, maybe you're in survival mode. Maybe you feel like, oh, I can pay my rent and I can buy some groceries and that's good enough for me. And maybe she does have money coming in from all these different roles and advertisements and marketing campaigns and whatnot. Maybe she wanted to do the Dr. Squatch campaign because, I don't know, what, maybe she wanted to buy herself a Lambo. Maybe she wanted to take herself out of the country. Maybe she wanted to do whatever. Like, me personally, when it comes to beautiful women, I'm always going to be in support of the fact that beautiful women should be rich, like literally rich, literally wealthy, because it's like you attract all of this attention. You know, you're attracting men who are ugly. You attract men who are broke. You attract men who are hot, men who are fit, men who are 6, 7, 8 figure earners. You know, you're attracting all of these men, and it's like, everybody wants to consume you. Like, other women, they want you to validate their choices. They want you to be their free therapist or their free, dietitian, their free workout instructor. They want you to be their free, anything. They just want you to be their free beauty guru. They feel entitled to knowing about your beauty enhancements, your beauty routines, your skincare, your diet, your workout. People get paid to share that stuff. People actually get paid to share their skincare routines, their beauty routines, their get ready with me. So, there's so many women who are out there giving that information out there for free, and, they really don't have to. But I feel like, when you have so much visibility as a woman, you have the eyes of everyone. So yes, in that you have the eyes of the men who want to control you, the men who, literally see you as a trophy. They want to acquire you and then put you on a shelf. There are some men, when you are a beautiful woman, depending on your aesthetic, you can come across men who, they don't even really care about your thoughts, your beliefs. Like, they don't care about making you happy. They just want to get you. They want to take you out on the town. They want to be seen with you. They want to bring you in front of their friends or whatever and say, hey, look what I was able to pull. And they will, they might put you up in a nice house and everything. They might pay all the bills. You might be able to get the things that you want materialistically. They might buy you the shoes, the bags, all of that. But when it really comes to them getting to know you as a person, people don't sit there and talk to their trophies and try to figure out what their trophies, hopes, and dreams are. Some beautiful women, we know what it feels like to have a man who really just wanted to acquire us, and that's it. He got you. He did all this stuff in the beginning to get you. He did all the love bombing. And then you just basically become like a testament of his manhood or of his success. He doesn't base his success on, oh, look at how happy my woman is. How happy she is. Look at how happy my woman is. It's just, oh, look at how hot she is. I got me a really hot woman, and she sits at the house. She wants to go apple picking with me, but I don't take her apple picking because I don't care about her, her hopes and dreams. I want to take her to Dubai, but maybe she really just wants to go to Vermont. Maybe there's like a nice little cottage over there she wants to go to. But, I feel like, there are some men who will get with you and the whole relationship is them performing for other people. They don't care about what you want. And I feel like it is really hard. Like, so many people, they have all of this, judgment and opinions on when the pretty girl chooses wrong. But a lot of women, it's like, it can be hard to feel like you're inundated with choices, especially because as a beautiful woman, people will try to shame you they'll try to shame you out of your preferences. Like, I feel like so many times people feel as though as a beautiful woman, to show that you're not vain, you're supposed to give a shot to the ugly guy. You're supposed to give a shot to the obese man. And people will basically say that, if you have not had such a good experience dating a certain guy or whatever, they'll try and flip that on you instead of it being like, oh my God, that was so not cool that guy treated you that way. It'll be like, oh, well, that's what you get because you were trying to date that guy and you were being vain as well. And you just wanted to date the guy who was attractive and had a good career and had money, but you should have not been so superficial. You should have just gotten with an ugly guy who was going to treat you right. People don't necessarily have a ton of sympathy for you because they're like, oh, well, if I had all those choices, they always feel like they know what they would do in your, shoes. But I just feel like there are so many situations where being a beautiful woman can be so unsafe with how many choices you have and how many eyes are on you, and the fact that yes, you are going to attract people. You're going to attract men who they just want to take from you. They just want, like, some men will literally date you and want to show you all over town just so they can put an investment in future women that they can date and stuff. They just want to be able to show that they could pull a you. And then after that, let's say you're a 9 and you're the first 9 he's ever dated. He's going to show you off all over town. He's going to be taking pictures, putting you all over his social media. And even if he performs very terribly in the relationship and you end up leaving him or whatever, he then feels like, maybe before he was dating twos, but now and I don't even really believe in the whole number ranking system, but this is just, let's just go with this. After you, now all of a sudden he gets to show other women like, well, I could pull her. So now all of a sudden he's now pulling women who are on your type of level, other beautiful women, other women who are accomplished and everything. And I just feel like it can be really unsafe where it's like, as a beautiful woman, you can have these things that come to you, but people are not necessarily just giving to you freely. It could be, well, I'll give this to you, but here's the catch. Like, a lot of times there is some sort of catch. And I don't think the answer is to just not be beautiful or to just not ever accept anything from people. But I see things like wanting to invest in your wealth and wanting to get actually wealthy and stuff is a safer thing, because as a woman, there can be a big difference in how you feel on a trip that a man has paid for and you have to be with him versus a trip that you paid for and it's just you and your girls, or even just you, being able to control what is going to happen to your body or what you get to dress, what you get to wear. There are just really dangerous situations that can, happen to you as a woman, where I am fully in support of beautiful women wanting to have insane amounts of wealth because they need it. They do. I just feel like you just get pulled in so many different directions that, yes, you do need to be shooting for, in my opinion, wealth if you want to be safe as a beautiful woman, because there are going to be so many other things that come to you. And of course I would say, yeah, take it. But at the same time, there can be a catch and things can get unsafe for you. Now, on the American Eagle situation, I don't really see people's issue with that. I think that people have just forgotten about the fact that, the same way that there's been this huge push over the last decade or two for, Black women to love themselves and to be these Black Nubian queens and to feel so confident and everything. Like, other women deserve to feel confident and beautiful and love their phenotype as well. Other women deserve to feel beautiful and to say it out loud. Exoticals deserve to be able to say, I love being light-skinned. I love having my chinky eyes. I love whatever it is. I love my wavy hair texture. I love that I have curls that fall in ringlets instead of whatever else. I don't love when people are putting down another feature or whatever while they're uplifting their self. But at the same time, it's like, some people, they will take you uplifting yourself as you downing them, even if you're not. It's like, she didn't say, oh, your jeans are bad. She just say, yeah, I feel like my jeans are good. I love my jeans. And I just feel like everybody should feel like they are the beautifulest and they are the most top tierist. Like, I just don't, I personally get along with women who are confident in general. So, most of the types of women that I'm friends with or that I would get along with, they wouldn't see a woman like Sweeney saying something like uplifting herself and women who look like her and be offended by that. That's why, me personally, I'm able to easily make friends who are beautiful, feminine women of multiple different backgrounds, because none of us I don't get triggered when my white friend says, oh my God, like, I just love like my blonde hair or what, like, I love my blue eyes. Like, okay, girl, like, and I just feel like, me personally, I just don't have an issue with that, because I don't know. I'm the type of person who, I need friends who love their look. I have, every time that I've had, like a girlfriend that things were not able to work out with, it was because oftentimes it was because she was not confident in her look and everything, so I basically could not, I can't sit there and take pictures of myself. I can't take a selfie in front of you, because then you're going to feel like, oh, look at her over there just because she's so cute. Girl, like, the type of friendships I enjoy is like, okay, I'm going to take your pictures and then you're going to take my pictures, or we're both going to be sitting here taking selfies together because we're both hyping each other up. And I'm just the type of girl, like, when a girl is beautiful and confident, we're typically going to get along. Like, I can talk about makeup and I could talk about weave and extensions and all of that with white women and not feel inferiority or anything like that. Like, I just personally, I just feel like I don't know. I don't have some of those same issues that other people have when it comes to that. And I even scrolled past, I didn't actually watch the video. It's on my watch later list now, but I saw the Black Exotical actually, her thumbnail talking about the situation was that like, you're only offended by that because you feel like you don't have good genes. And I think that, I didn't watch the video yet, but I'm sure that she's going to be making very good points in that video. And I definitely agree with that. I feel like to people who love their own self, seeing other people uplift their self and their phenotype and their look doesn't bother them. It only bothers you, I feel like, when you already feel inferior to them. And so when they speak out that they love themselves or that they're confident, they love their features, their look or whatever, then you're hearing that as, oh, they love their look and they feel like this about my look, and I am, on the bottom of society and I'm below them. But me personally, I don't have any issue with her. I don't know. Me personally, I'm always typically going to be on the side of giving grace and not judging the beautiful types of women, because I've been in situations where people just had way too many opinions about me and my business and how I'm living and what I choose to do with my body and my money. And it's just, I just feel like so many people, they feel entitled to have an opinion on what you're doing. And at the end of the day, I'm like, when it comes to women, I feel like it's the same way that I feel with OF girls. The market is there. Nobody is holding a gun to men's head and saying, you better pay this $7.99 a month to see my titties. Like, nobody's forcing the men to pay for whatever they're paying for. Nobody's forcing men to sexualize women. Nobody's forcing men to be inappropriate and do things to women without their consent. So I just feel like, if you're waiting for all of the women who are beautiful to just decide that they're going to never accept any sort of privileges in society, or profiting off of being sexualized anymore, if you think we're all just going to link up and say, okay, we're all just going to stop being hot, that's never going to happen. And I feel like if you're on this channel, you're probably the type of woman who you have dealt with some of these things in your own way already, or you are going to start dealing with it. It's going to become something that happens. Whatever it is that you need to improve on or you want to improve on, as you improve, you're going to start gaining more haters. You're going to gain more people who feel more entitled to your time, your energy. You're going to become more visible. You're going to receive more judgment, more nitpicking, more critique, more people dang near stalking you and having an opinion on every single thing you do with your life. And I mean, you have two choices. You can decide to play small and decide that you will not be visible and you will not improve yourself. You will not glow up because you want to avoid that and you want to be a part of the sisterhood of mediocrity. Or you're going to get on the side where you say, okay, I don't care. Like, at a certain point, I'm not saying that like it's never going to hurt you, it's never going to bother you. Yes, it can bother you. And, I feel like even the woman who works on herself all the time can still have those moments of self-doubt or feeling like, oh my God, no matter what I do, people always have an issue. But at a certain point, you kind of just have to get to the point of let them. They want to say that, oh, you're pandering to the male gaze. Let them say that. Okay. Are your bills paid? Yes, they are. Okay. Like, don't sit there and accept critique from women who you wouldn't trade lives with. Like, half of the women who are coming out and so harshly judging Sydney Sweeney don't know you exist and she wouldn't trade lives with you. And I think if you really think about it, you know she wouldn't trade lives with you. You know she probably has more money than you or whatever you want in this society. I'm sure that you probably feel as though she has that, whether it's the visibility, whether it's the natural body, whatever it is. I just feel like our energy as women is best spent investing into ourselves, investing into our looks, instead of critiquing what the other women are going to do. It's totally fine to say, I wouldn't do that. But I do feel like coming out and like, I mean, hey, everybody deserves their opinion. Everybody deserves to give their take on stuff. I would never say like somebody should be silenced just because I don't agree with them. But at the same time, I just feel as though I don't know, it's it's just strange because it's like, unless somebody has like the same amount of smoke for the men who have made her uncomfortable, who have touched her without her consent, who have just done like nasty disgusting things to her, likely I am sure people like men have done even women, because women can be creeps and stuff like that too. I've dealt with situations with women being the ones who are being nasty creeps to me. And I just feel like, if that's how she feels like she's getting her lick back, I support that, because at the end of the day, most women, if they had a certain type of look, if they had the confidence, if they had the support system to go into whatever types of industries, most women, if they could have people who would pay for soap that had their bath water in it, you actually would. For a lot of women over in this space, I would say you've had men tell you that they would buy your dirty drawers. They would drink your bath water. You've experienced these different things. You're aware of different things that men will do when they find you to be very tantalizing and beautiful and all these things. And it could be to the point where it's made you uncomfortable. And I'm a big believer in transmuting things, or alchemizing it, like taking that energy and putting it into something else. You can say, hey, I think it's very disgusting that men keep sexualizing me. I'm going to make some money off of that, and then I'm going to go treat myself to something that I got for myself with the money I got from that. I mean, personally, I think that she's a beautiful girl, and I feel like my genes are beautiful. So when I see a girl who looks different and she feels like that, I'm more, apt to feel like we would probably get along. Because I don't like being around women, especially being an exotical, especially having ambiguous beauty. It is tough for me being around women who are unambiguous, whether they're white or they're black. And I can tell that they feel like I am closer to their standard of beauty than they are. That's a very uncomfortable thing. Like, it would be kind of more creepy to me if she wanted, like, I'm not going to say like it's weird if you want to look like somebody else or if your internalized beauty standard is not you, but I don't know. I don't mind a white girl who likes being a white girl and she's blonde hair and blue eyed and she likes that. I don't have an issue with that personally, because me being an exotical, I love my look, and I don't know, I don't have an issue with it. I have white family members that I think are beautiful. There are, I find white women to be beautiful as well. I don't feel like they all just age like milk. And even if that's the case, I mean, I feel like when you're an exotical, like, you can have these beliefs and dislike white women, but you might have white women in your family. Your mom might be white. You might end up aging like a white woman, you know what I'm saying? So I just don't have an issue with that. I'm a big believer in hot, beautiful women should be able to do what the freak they want, and people should stay out of their business and focus on their own pockets. Worry about your own pH balance and your own, bank account. But what do you think, worldies? What do you think, worldies? Do you feel as if she is wrong for profiting off of people sexualizing her? Did the American Eagle ad trigger you in any sort of way? If it did trigger you, did you lean into that as a place to kind of look within and figure out what it is about the ad that bothered you? I would love to continue this conversation in the comments down below. Until next time, worldies, eyes on the prize.